Thank you for attending. Good morning, good afternoon, wherever you're tuning in from. My name is Justin DeVore, and today's webinar we'll be going through how to set up your Leica Jetstream Enterprise. And we'll also show kind of some of the new features of transitioning to Cyclone Enterprise. That is a new solution that Leica has come out with, basically kind of improving the workflow when it comes to storing our point clouds and giving them access. So we'll go and kick this off and get this rolling. A little bit about me. As I mentioned, my name is Justin DeVore, and I'm a senior reality capture specialist here with ATG, and I am based out of our Phoenix office. We have offices all over the country and support really all over the country, and we have major offices in Little Rock, Arkansas, out in New York and Minnesota, and then out on the West Coast as well. So I've been with ATG going on 7+ years now, and my background is in civil engineering. I did that right out of college, and you can kind of read through the rest, but as I was kind of putting the slide together, I realized my photo is a little out of date. So a little less hair up top and a little more on the face. So like I mentioned, it will just be me today. So if you have any questions, feel free to throw that in the chat and I will get to them where I can. Okay. So let's go ahead and we'll just kind of do what we're going to be covering today. So we're going to get started, getting started with Jetstream Enterprise. So we're going to go through the CLM installation steps on the Jetstream server. We're going to activate the entitlement ID, Jetstream Enterprise installation onto a server, and then also set up a NAS drive for the project storage as well. Okay. We are also going to be talking about Cyclone Enterprise. Cyclone Enterprise was recently released and made just available last month. So we'll cover about some of the features that Leica has added here in a little bit, but really just made the jump. What they really did when coming out with Cyclone Enterprise was make the jump from just a point cloud storage solution, like we have with Jetstream that we're going to be setting up here in a little bit, and really added a user-friendly project management system on top of it. So making it more streamlined, consolidated some of the different softwares all into one enterprise. And again, that's really to improve the workflow, communication with all the departments and everybody that we talk to, and reducing the need for additional software add-ons. Okay, so a little bit before we dive thick into it, I wanted to touch base here on some cool things we have going on here at ATG. There's tons and tons of content being shown, discussed on our LinkedIn and also our YouTube page. We've made it a big focus over the past 2 years, making a major commitment to not only share what's new out there, but share as much of our knowledge as we can throughout there through several different outlets. So you'll notice a lot of our employees sharing all of our information through LinkedIn, as well as highlighting different YouTube videos that get created. So if it's been a while since you last checked us out, go and jump on there and see what's new. The team I'm part of, the reality capture team, we've done a lot of really interesting white papers and written up some of this recent technology, hardware and software that Leica has been coming out with as well. So again, check out our YouTube page, several different playlists to go through, and they're always being added to. So I took a screenshot today, and we're up to 105 different videos for Revit, and then over in reality capture we have 35 up and going, and then a whole bunch of different playlists too around town halls and morning coffee and AutoCAD and Dynamo. So a lot of content out there. Check it out. Then I also wanted to give a quick plug to our hardware partner Binbox for those machine hardware needs. We've had a handful of these showcased at our booth in AU back before COVID, And we've had a lot of customers purchasing these and having a lot of success with them. So if you don't know much about it, please feel free to reach out and let's have a discussion around it. Okay, reach out to your account rep or customer service rep, or even call support. Somebody will get you around that way, and things like that. So, all right, well, let's go and dive back into it. So we're going to be going and setting up a Jetstream Enterprise server. Okay, so kind of the first step is make sure that our license manager is up to date. So we can go and download the latest and greatest CLM license manager from Leica. There's a link up here as well, but basically what we're going to do is go and download that, run that, and launch the wizard to launch the CLM package. Okay. And then after that, go through our typical license agreements, click through the next and install that. And then we go into opening that CLM. And basically what we're going to do here is enter our entitlement IDs. Now the entitlement ID is basically going to turn on and activate, as well as check to make sure that we do have a license of Jetstream Enterprise available to us. If we don't have this up and running, we won't be able to get this server up and going. So again, very important first step to take care of is to go ahead and activate your license. Okay. And then after that, we can go ahead and install, after the license manager is installed, and after we've entered in those entitlement IDs, we can go ahead and install Jetstream Enterprise onto our server. As you can see here, you can grab that that download from your Leica My World account. One thing I want to note here, this doesn't necessarily have to be installed onto a typical server. Okay, we can install Jetstream locally onto your own machine or onto other desktops as well. Really, for it to be effective, it just needs to be able to communicate and give others access to it. So one obvious thing, if I were to install this onto my local machine, if I turned off my computer, those that were accessing the point cloud I have stored on there would lose that connection. So something to kind of keep in mind there. It does not have to be on a server. It could be on a local machine, but as long as that can communicate and access those point clouds. Okay, so after the installation wizard is complete, and the admin tool will proceed with its installation. As you can kind of see here, the default port is going to be 9090. You can change that as needed. It's just a default that's kind of on there. It's not critical that it ends up being on 9090. But I went ahead and did on mine. I went ahead and did the defaults as is. Okay, so now we can change the storage location. Okay, so this is basically where everything's going to get stored. Your project storage, and you'll select that location, go ahead and hit next, and then that Jetstream viewer will go ahead and install. And then that's really it. Your Jetstream Enterprise installation is complete. We'll go and take a look at mine, and I'll go and launch mine. Okay, so we got that over here. And we're taking a look at this. So I got a couple things up here. So we got the host name login. Again, I just did mine local. Okay, we see the port, and then log in to password to be able to turn that on. And I'm currently connected. I could disconnect here as well as get the information for my computer. Okay, also the storage location. I can set up multiple storage locations, rename them here, webinar, or whatever the case may be. Okay, and then you can add and or remove different storage locations, and then reconnect as you see fit, as well as set up temp folders. Okay, there's also kind of a project manager section here of different projects loaded in. You can export, import projects. You can deactivate, rename, or reactivate the projects as well as archive here as well. And then you can also, add additional users in here as well. So that's basically the Jetstream admin portion of it. Okay, we'll go ahead and go back to the presentation here. Okay. All right, so let's go and switch back over. And the one thing we did, so I installed mine locally here, but also wanted to kind of cover the steps if we are going to go set up a NAS storage folder onto a server. So let's go and kind of go through those. So we'll go ahead and launch, we'll go and jump onto the server and then enter in the services that are running on that server. So, and then we'll go ahead and right click on the Jetstream service and select properties. Okay. And then after that, we can go ahead and log in, type in the Windows username and password, hit apply and OK, and then close the services. Okay. And note, Windows account used under login as has to be set to an account with full admin rights. Okay, so we can't just have a typical user on here. This may be where you want to have your IT involved, depending on what kind of restrictions are in here. Okay. Okay, and then like I mentioned, we opened up the I showed an example of mine, but opened up the Jetstream admin tool on there and to connect, but also on the server. So if we go in there, it'll, you know, same dialog box we have on there, but on the storage location, we can set that path. That will need to be pathed manually. You know, we won't be able to just go ahead and select something, have Windows Explorer open. So we'll want to know that path and then enter that in manually. Okay, and note here, map networks drive are not supported. UNC path must be used. Okay, the UNC path must exit before manually typing it in. The Jetstream admin tool will not create that folder. Okay, so that's pretty much it. We've now set up Jetstream Enterprise. You know, it's not as daunting or as complicated as, you know, something like Enterprise might sound like it be. But yeah, we'll go and set that up. And I wanted to take this time to go ahead and kind of showcase what Leica's been working on with the Cyclone Enterprise, right? It just came out and just got released this last month. So I wanted to kind of take some time to introduce that here. Okay, so the Cyclone Enterprise. Okay. All right, so here are some of the features listed here and on here. So from Leica, you know, the Cyclone Enterprise, what they really want to focus on is a single source of truth. So a location, you know, it's always important to have that current information in there, whether this is a model or in this case, point cloud storage. Having that one location instead of, oh, does Justin have the latest, or does Phil have the latest, greatest, or anything like that. So to be able to have that on there is critical, as well as having your data secure. Okay, so making sure that only the users we want to be able to see the data have access to that data. So security is important there, as well as having a good way to manage all the data, to be able to control users in and out that are accessing the data, as well as be able to archive and do other management type things. Okay. Okay. And then also kind of some highlights here. So definitely improving and getting everything, you know, it's all about workflow efficiency of getting that seamless CAD integration, you know, through CloudWorks plugins, whether that be through your Autodesk products or Bentley products or SolidWorks or whatever that may be that CloudWorks can plug into. Okay. Also having versions of web versus desktop access. Okay, so not only being able to access it on your computer there at work, but also out in the field, you know, so being able to log into the web and being able to view view the latest scan information. And again, Jetstream is not going away with the Cyclone Enterprise. All this is going to be powered by Jetstream. Cyclone is just consolidating everything and putting everything into a more user-friendly and more production management tools have been added as well. Okay. And also some highlights. So again, we talked about centralizing the project data, as well as streaming the 3D data onto desktop or tablet, iPad, whatever the case may be. Being able to collaborate across all different type of operating system, granular user management. Also, they've improved the user interface as well. And then there's a lot of flexibility when it comes to deploying Cyclone Enterprise as well. So we have a lot of control on that side of things to work with different IT restrictions and things like that. And then also improving kind of the licensing. So like I mentioned before, consolidating into more of one package instead of needing to have a connector license and needing to have licenses of different little add-ons to be able to go through your entire workflow. Now it's about kind of lumping that together into one location. So it does kind of look a little different. So we're kind of looking at it here on the login screen. Okay, so nice and dark username, password to get you access to it. Okay. And then when we launch that, we can go immediately to the projects. So we have little thumbnails of the projects and the groups. Expand. You can see the interface is a little friendlier than what we have with the Jetstream admin before. So a little more ease of use to be able to get that in there. As I mentioned, they have a flexible user management, being able to add and modify and delete the users, assign different roles and permissions, assign projects to and or groups, change the language preferences, reset passwords can be done through here, and then also run filters and do different searches for users. So whether that's a search for a specific user or if that's filtering out by discipline type or whatever the case may be. Okay. And it's all included within a browser-based UI. And over here, we're kind of looking at the admin page, administration page here in Cyclone Enterprise. So we see a handful of users, and they have a variety of different roles assigned to each of them, whether that's admin or supervisor, group admin, project admin, or power users, or just a regular user. So a lot of those can have predefined settings, as well as they can be customized and added to as well. And you can go ahead and add, modify, delete users, change their roles. You can also, as I mentioned, reset the user password in case they don't have that anymore. And assign those users to projects or groups of projects, okay? And then also preferences in case we're working on, something more globally where we gotta have different languages in place as well. Okay. And then also again on the admin page over here in the active processes, you can see all the active user sessions, okay, across any connected product. Okay, we'd be able to see their username, the last time they logged in, what their role is, and then how long their sessions have been as well before they have to re-sign in. And then we can also force that too. We can also force close somebody out of it so that they have to re-sign in as well. So a lot more functionality and features listed here. Okay. And also we have a lot of publishing options here too. So we don't have to necessarily do that from the software we're in, whether that be Register 360 or any of those other products. We can do some publishing of the projects through here as well. So we can publish to the LGS files to create not only backups, or if we want to make a copy of that to send out locally, or have as backup, or even deliver to an owner or customer, things like that. We can have it, and we have the option of adding password protection as well. Okay, so some neat features here. Okay, and then also we can change and edit the project access. As I mentioned kind of before, they have this, you can select projects, assign, unassign those users. We can easily search for different usernames and or roles of those areas. So there's a little search bar up here, and the projects to check on and off clearly in here. Okay. And then we can also, again, back on the options, you can add, modify, or delete groups and subgroups through these options, assign users to those groups or subgroups, and assign projects to those groups or subgroups. Okay, so you have to have a group. Okay, and really from there, assign to that group. That may be a company name, for example, or it might be a discipline, right? Or if that group is a company name, then that subgroup might be the different disciplines within that group. Okay, so a lot of different functionality to be able to do that in there. Okay. And again, like I said, being able to select and or change edit the group access on here. Okay, a lot of quick references. Okay, and then there was a handful of questions, as you can imagine, because this did just come out last month, and what happened to currently Jetstream. So here were some of the frequently asked questions for Leica, and I'll go and share the answers out here. So what steps are involved in migrating data from Jetstream to Cyclone Enterprise? Users first must uninstall the Jetstream Enterprise. This won't remove your data. During that installation process, Cyclone Enterprise will detect any existing Jetstream Enterprise server database information and migrate that information over to the Cyclone Enterprise. Okay. After you've installed Cyclone Enterprise, users will be able to reconnect that feature. The data will immediately be accessible within Enterprise, and all the data will be placed into a default group within Cyclone Enterprise. One thing to note here, customers will need to set up users and groups, because users and groups were not around with the Jetstream Enterprise admin functionality. So we will have to set up users and groups after the data has been migrated. Okay, another question, how long do I have to migrate my data? Okay, after you're receiving your new Cyclone Enterprise entitlement ID, you'll have 30 days to migrate your data before your old Jetstream Enterprise EID is deactivated. Okay, so we got 30 days to do that. And if you have any questions or thoughts or concerns, we can definitely help out there as well. Okay, on getting that over. Okay, another question, does Cyclone Enterprise have complete feature parity with Jetstream Enterprise? Yes, simple answer, yes. Cyclone Enterprise does meet as well as exceeds those features currently found in the Jetstream Enterprise. Again, they're not taking anything away, just adding to it. Added with every release, and as far as their roadmap, more features will be added as well to make it more and more user-friendly and more accessible. Okay. And then also, what features do I gain when upgrading from Jetstream Enterprise to Cyclone Enterprise? Users, they can get, again, really kind of the highlight here, at least for me, was that robust user and project management system. Okay. There's also support for cloud deployments. Okay, that wasn't available before. So we have a lot of different functionality when it comes to deploying this out. The ability to stream that 3D data project into a browser, with TrueView Live and things like that. So a lot more functionalities to be able to share this information. So, okay, so kind of to kind of wrap this up, I know it was kind of a quick one today, but you know, we just set up the Jetstream Enterprise server. We went through some of the new features and workflow that has been introduced with the new Cyclone Enterprise. And then we also kind of covered some things migrating the data from Jetstream to Cyclone Enterprise. So, okay. And if there's any questions, please feel free to reach out to myself or anyone over here at ATG, and we'll get back to you on how that is. But thank you for attending, and have a good day.